My name is Surya Sagar. I'm a professional Muay Thai fighter and a wildlife enthusiast. My professional record of Muay Thai right now is 4 wins, 3 losses and 0 draws. And right now I'll be fighting for the WBC Muay Thai title fight in Bangalore. How and when I got into Muay Thai was a bit of a surprise for me. First, my dad is actually a cinema industry guy who's into acting and stuff, where he, in a very young age, was showing me a lot of martial arts movies and action movies, which actually inspired me to get into, like I wanted to learn martial arts, action like Jackie Chan, looking at them, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, or Enter the Dragon movie. It kind of inspired me to, really get into the, martial arts field. So my dad was the main guy who got it into me first. What Muay Thai means to me right now is, it's my life right now. So I've given up everything, my education, it's like, yeah, it's full-time thing for me now, because it's like an addiction, I can tell you. Like, I've started off just like 6 years back, but still it's become a habit for me. And it's something that changed my life forever. Muay Thai, how it shaped me, it did shape me into a completely different person right now, because my initial days in my childhood, I was not into any sports. I was like completely a guy who was into wildlife. Something like Steve Irwin, he was an inspiration to me, and I really wanted to pursue that. And paleontology, my first thing which I wanted to do was take dig out bones of dinosaurs and stuff like that, which was my main thing. I had difficulties in school, where I had to change like 13 schools, where I am dyslexic. In schools, they told me that you're not fit to be you're having very low grades, you're not really good enough. They used to complain, my parents, but thank God my parents are the main reason I'm here today, because if they weren't really understanding like now, I don't think I would have been here in the first place. So I thank my parents for that first. Have I trained other martial arts, and how Muay Thai is different from other martial arts is, first martial art which I ever tried was Kung Fu. That was back in school. When I see Muay Thai is a full combat sport, where it is like real hitting hard and getting hit hard. So if I take any other martial arts now in India, it's like semi-contact, but Muay Thai is like a complete striking thing. We're using all 8 limbs, so you use your hands, legs, knees and elbows. So it is quite a dangerous and a brutal sport. My journey into Muay Thai was really a nice journey, I would say that, because first I got introduced to Muay Thai when my friend in school told me that there's a Muay Thai and kickboxing gym in Jainagar. So I went with him to Rock Solid Studio. That has been held by Mr. Chandru Kumar sir and Srinivas master. They were my first teachers for Muay Thai, and I really wanted to fight in a tournament, which I fought in 2015 in a junior Muay Thai championship in Chinnaswamy Stadium. This fight really changed my life, because this fight I was really overconfident, I might tell, lost that fight. But right after that loss, it just made me stick on to fighting. Muay Thai is what I want to do next. And after this, I fought 2 more fights. I won my second fight, a gold medal. That was in Mysore Dasra Cup Nationals. And after that, I fought one of the Mysore team, guy named Kishore, in my third fight in Bangalore, which I lost, which made me go to Mysore. One of the coaches, his name is Kru Vikram Nagaraj, and his club is Academy of Martial Science, that is in Mysore. So I stayed there for 3 years training under him, and I did fight all my amateur fights under him, 1 MMA fight too, and I did cover at least 5 amateur fights, winning 4 by knockout and 1 fight through decision. So after this, I upgraded to Thailand. My only plan was to go to Thailand, because my main inspiration to Muay Thai was Tony Jaa. Of course, everyone's seen Ong Bak movie, you know. When I got into the Muay Thai detail, like who's the really big champion and stuff like that, the main guy was Bokau Banchamik. So he's the best Muay Thai fighter I can tell. So when I went to Thailand, I did fight a lot of professional fights. Lot in the sense I fought 7 professional fights, winning 4 and losing 3 by decision. And I won 2 fights by knockout. One was in Chiang Mai and one more was in Max Muay Thai Stadium in Pattaya. My biggest weakness, I can tell is right now, I kind of lose my mind when I don't train. You know, it's something that, you know, if I don't train for 2-3 days, I feel like, oh shit, I've lost, like I've not done something, you know, I'm not trained. I start thinking so much that I visualize the future scenarios which haven't happened at all, and I, you know, put it in front of me like an imagination, like it's already happening. How I cope up with loss and injury, I don't take a loss as a loss because this is a combat sport. Basically, it's something that you win and lose. It's a part of the game. But you know, if you lose fights 3 or 4 or even more than 10 fights in a streak, anyone would feel really depressed and feel like, you know, I think we have to give up or something. But the main thing is, you know, we have to make sure, train harder and, you know, work on our mistakes. My future for my Muay Thai, you know, profession is I want to fight in the most prestigious stadiums in Thailand, that is Lumpini Stadium and Rajdaram Stadium, that is in Thailand, which is one of the most prestigious stadiums. And I think only one Indian has fought there. His name is Abhimanyu Thakur. So he fought in Lumpini Stadium, and he's the first Indian. But I want to make sure I get a win and, you know, get a name to India. And other than that, I want to fight in one championship. There's so many other promotions there, like Hardcore, Super Champ, and even Rebellion in Australia. So there are a lot more promotions, but I want to make sure I get one by one. I really want to promote Muay Thai not just as a sport, but a way of life, because it's a really ancient art form which has been passed down through generations and generations, and now even more effective as of modern ways of striking, which will help a lot of people through their difficulties.